Hello, everyone, and welcome to Google Hangouts. It is the Movie Zone with Kieran Joe and John Shortall tonight. And on YouTube, we're live. And hopefully, if you don't see this live, that you see the repeated version. But we have a big topic, or a big list of topics for you tonight. John, how are you getting on?
Pretty good, Kieran. Um, Looking forward to discussing all these movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
I know you've made a pretty comprehensive list there, and it's an exciting time to discuss it now because of the San Diego Comic Con, which is going on. So there's a lot of new news coming out and new trailers and whatnot. So plenty
Yeah,
to talk
the
about.
Con is a big deal at the minute, and it's very apt that we should be doing this one,
Definitely, yeah. I'd love to be over there myself. Um,
Yeah, you were there a while ago, so it would have been,
yeah, I was a bit further south. I didn't get the chance to go to San Diego, but there's 130,000 people at it this year, so
wow.
yeah, be pretty cool.
Is there a Comic Con in Germany now too? Is there?
There's Comic Cons all over. I mean, I know there's one in New York. I don't know the exact locations, but San Diego is the biggest. But I'm not sure how many other places actually do it.
Right, right. So we have a big list of topics tonight. And we've actually last week it was the first week that we linked up, so it was was more of a trial run. But now this time we're more organised, so we won't be cutting for anything.
Yeah.
We actually done another half hour last week. We didn't realise it didn't record, so there you go.
Don't be saying that, Kieran. The world didn't need to know.
Okay, that didn't really happen. Right, okay, well, we're going to go on to this. First of all, there's a new film out at the minute, and I'm not going to go with the way the lineup looks there. I'm just going to pick ones off it. The new film coming out, it's on the 17th of July, it's actually coming out, and it's called Ant-Man.
Yeah, the new Marvel one. It's connected to the Marvel universe, so I think it'll have some cameos from the Avengers in it, possibly Steve Rogers or well, I actually don't know who's in it. I know there will be a couple of cameos, I bet. And I think then Paul Rudd will eventually have a part in the next Avengers movie, or he'll appear in some of the individual ones.
There is talk of the new Avengers, the next one, like.
Yeah, he'll probably be in Captain America: Civil War as well, which has got a ton of Marvel characters. Yeah, I mean it's got that many big stars in it. It pretty much is like a new Avengers ensemble. But yeah, I probably will go see the Sandman movie. It's getting quite good reviews. I think people are surprised at the positive reaction to it because when you think about it, it's about a man that turns into an ant, basically, or the size of an ant. Tiny. It makes you wonder how did they actually make that into a compelling action movie, or how do they make it funny? So there's an obvious challenge there, and plus the fact we've already had about half a dozen or more Marvel Avengers movies, so there's a bit of inertia. I think people are getting a little bit tired of it, unless not the hardcore fans, but for the general audience. But it seems like it's going to be pretty good, so I think I will check it out eventually.
Me too. I seen the trailer the other day in the cinema, and I thought it looked like a blockbuster. It looked like one of these. Definitely did. It looked to be on a par with the other Marvel movies.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a fresh cast as well, apart from like those cameos that we'll see. So that's nice to have these new characters in there.
Yeah.
So did you see that before the Terminator movie? Was it?
I've seen it before Jurassic Park there.
Jurassic Park, yeah, you saw Jurassic
Park before yesterday, so I still unfortunately have to see Terminator, but I'll be seeing it within the next week.
Cool. I look forward to hearing what you have to say on it.
Yeah. But yeah, you were saying that you weren't as impressed as you thought you might have been with Terminator.
It's a pretty good movie. I mean, I don't know. My expectations were not really high or low.
Right.
You know, I just went in there with an open mind. I didn't really like the Kyle Reese character that much, played by Jay Courtney, because I didn't think it was anything like the original one by Michael Biehn. You know, he didn't take the role seriously enough. But Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor was pretty good, taking over from Linda Hamilton. Schwarzenegger was good as always. His screen time appeared to be less this time around.
Right.
Not significantly, but I think noticeably it seemed like he wasn't uh, on the
Not the
screen as
center of
much as he had
attention as
been.
much, maybe, was he not?
Sorry?
Was he not the center of attention as much?
Not quite as much, but I mean, you've three other main characters that are getting a lot of screen time was Sarah Connor, Kyle Reese, and John Connor.
Uh,
So difficult to balance it between the four, but um, yeah, it's I think it's a good movie, and definitely will watch it again. But I mean, I guess I'll reserve judgment until I've seen it one more time.
it wouldn't have the replay value of the film that always has replay value, which is Terminator 2, would it?
Probably not. No, I don't think it'll stand the test of time as well as Terminator 2 has.
Because if you remember, for years after that was out, it was always on TV, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's something people pretty much always tune into whenever it's on the TV. You know.
Yeah. Moving on a bit. So you think Ant-Man is going to be it's going to be a big hit then, with Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas? And,
Likely, I mean these Marvel movies are never really anything but a hit. It seems, you know. That's why they keep making them.
I saw a good clip of him when he becomes small and then he can go through people like a bullet. You know, he can go on flying into them, can be like and punching them while he flies into them. Like he does a lot of damage.
So he's got the speed and the agility, and he can like go through keyholes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, they describe him as being like a bullet. And then I watched a review of it on IGN or something, I think, and it showed him when he first got the Ant-Man suit, doing some training where he had to run up towards a door and then turn small, go through the keyhole, and then appear big again in an instant. But he couldn't get it down, obviously, so he just kept running into the door over and over.
Right, right. Moving on now from Ant-Man and to another film that is coming to be a very big deal as far as Comic-Con and the whole fallout of Comic-Con. We're going to talk about now about Batman versus Superman, the one everyone's waiting for in the movie world, I think.
Yeah, the new trailer's out. I think we've both seen it. What do you think?
I was very impressed with it. It seems to be living up to expectation. Everybody's on the internet was hot with stuff about it yesterday and the day before. I think it's I thought Jeremy Irons looked cool as Alfred was one of the things that stuck out. It looks like a younger Alfred.
Yeah, he had the same voiceover in this trailer that he did in the last one, but you actually got to see a glimpse of him this time around, and it sounds like he's the voice of reason for Bruce Wayne, who appears to be a combination of angry and jealous and afraid of the power that Superman has. So that looks like what's fueling this fight between them. But it shows Ben Affleck running down the street as Bruce Wayne, and we see this skyscraper being destroyed in front of him through these laser beams, and it's obviously Superman, his eyes, or it's General Zod or something. They're having a fight, and I think when he just sees this power, that he gets quite afraid. And then Jeremy Irons alludes to that. You know, it's his fear of the powerlessness that makes good men, you know, go bad. So I don't quite know the full backstory. I'm not sure if it's even really been revealed as to why this conflict is there.
But I've seen a report there on IGN, and it said that that one of the main kind of Zack Snyder which have said that the main reason for the rage against Superman and for Batman's want to take down Superman is because of the false god kind of idea.
What's that?
It's to do with him being a false god or whatever.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. They
I
showed
didn't
that.
give away too much, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. It looks like Batman is some kind of special armor suit. It actually looks like the Iron Man suit a little bit, and
Yeah,
that probably has.
that
I
sort of
don't know.
annoyed me. It made me think they're going too far away from the norm, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, he's going to need something pretty hefty to take on
But like they
Superman.
end
So
up
maybe it
in
has
bodies,
kryptonite
like
built into it or something.
league anyway.
Sorry.
You know, let's face it, like they're going to end up being buddies and making up the Justice League anyway. You know.
Yeah, I mean, in all likelihood, I'd be very surprised if either one of them died by the end of the movie. So, um, but yeah, he must have this some special suit to take on Superman. And then at the end of the trailer, you notice he actually destroys the Batmobile. He just like rips it in half, and there you have Batman sitting inside it. You know, kind of looking at him then, and you're thinking, well, shit, what's he gonna do now? So.
Your thoughts on Lex Luthor in the film?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously the enemy of Superman. So I wonder, are him and Batman gonna team up? It's pretty young Lex Luthor, played by what's the name of the actor from The Social Network?
Name there,
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, he played a big role, didn't he?
And he's got long hair in it as well. I wonder, is that a wig or something? Because Lex Luthor's always been.
Probably is, because I couldn't imagine him having long hair throughout the film.
Yeah, if you remember the old Superman movies as well, Gene Hackman wore a wig in it as well because the character was obviously quite self-conscious about it. So, so it shows him in the trailer, and he's speaking with probably his girlfriend. I don't know who that. We also see Wonder Woman in the trailer briefly as well.
That's right. And do you not think the Wonder Woman should have more of a colorful outfit rather than she looks like Xena Warrior Princess.
That's right. Yeah, it's sort of a brown, a reddish brown color. But yeah, I mean, look at Superman's outfit. That's a very dark blue, and they got rid of the red pants over the tights.
Maybe they're trying to avoid cheesiness or avoid.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of that kind of dark tone that they've been going for. So,
because you know, Wonder Woman, the first thing comes into my head is Xena when I look at Wonder Woman. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So when I see the way she is in the movie, I'm wondering, do they mean to do that, or what's the?
I don't know, Garen. I'm not sure. But did you notice as well? They show very briefly the dead body of General Zod. They show him in a body bag with almost zipped up to his head, and you see the actor Michael Shannon, his face, and he's all the color's gone out of his face. He's been killed by Superman. But there was a lot of uproar about that.
They're giving away parts of the plot already.
Well, I mean, he's already been dead from the last film, but do you remember there was an uproar because people said Superman doesn't kill. So maybe this is part of the reason. This is part of the reason as well that people are so afraid of him or kind of rebelling against him. Yeah. They saw what he did. You know, they saw even the General Zod was a bad guy. He still murdered him. So. Yeah,
true. My good acting buddy and friend of through film and that in Derry, Damien McDavid, was pointing out to me there yesterday that there's something to do with Robin in the trailer.
There is.
You can see the Robin outfit.
Right, I didn't catch that. I've only watched it once now, so I need to watch it again.
Yeah. But that would be a big thing if Robin actually made an appearance or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say they might include the what's the name of Robin?
There's been 3 or 4 Robins, but I know that the
his name's Dick something, isn't it?
Huh?
His name is Dick something.
Grayson, yeah.
Dick Grayson, yeah. So yeah, I mean, this Dick Grayson guy might appear in it, but I'd be surprised if he donned
What
the Robin
John
suit.
was one saying is there was a Tim Drake in the comics, and there was also a Jason Dodds who died. So maybe there's reference to Jason Dodds or something.
Possibly, yeah. There's already talk of the follow-up to this anyway, in the solo Batman movie, and Ben Affleck is apparently going to direct that as well as starring in it.
I read about that, all right, and that's interesting because like Affleck done a great job with Argo, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He's proven himself to be quite a good director. That and The Town as well with
Right.
what's his name? Uh, what do you call the guy from the Avengers with the blonde hair? Hawkeye. Yeah, Hawkeye, the guy that
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. Yeah, he was really good in The Town with Ben Affleck.
Did
Ben
you
Affleck's
see,
just going through a divorce now too.
Did you see Jeremy Renner on Fallon singing with the Avengers?
I've seen a wee bit of it, yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So the next Batman movie. What else is there to talk about on that? There's the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, big deal at Comic Con as well. They released it was the first trailer of it.
Right. I don't think it's been officially released online, but I'm sure it's been leaked. You know, if you want to watch a bad version of it, you can probably do so from
Somebody
Comic Con.
posted, somebody posted that it'd been recorded at the screening.
Right. Yeah. I'd probably just wait for the proper one, and I'm sure they'll release that soon enough. Whenever these leaks come out, they tend to just bring out the proper one then.
Do you think the Joker is looking very camp, or he's looking a lot different, doesn't he, compared to what we've seen before?
Yeah, he kind of looks like a punk rocker or something, or kind of like a boy band kind of character. Yeah, not really a fan of the look of this new Joker, but we'll see.
He's got all the tattoos and he's got the really light green hair. And it's as if the Suicide Squad is going for a totally different approach from Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, he looks quite anorexic as well, Jared Leto. He's always been a skinny actor, but I suppose the Joker is quite of a tall, thin guy in the comics anyway.
And the depiction of the Joker in the animated series as well was very skinny, kind of tall guy as well, wasn't it?
Right, yeah, and that's also that game that I told you I finished recently, the DC fighting game.
All right.
That had the Joker in it, and it was just like the comics as well, very tall and skinny, carried around a walking stick or a cane, which he used to beat people over the head with, and stab them and whatnot. So, and I think in the game he was also voiced by Mark Hamill because he's so famous from the cartoons for voicing the Joker.
Harley Quinn, what's your opinions on the way she looks in the new idea?
I mean, she looks pretty much like the comic books, I think, doesn't she? She has a bit less white and black face makeup, but yeah, that actress that they chose is physically she looks the part anyway. I'm not good with names tonight, but she was in The Wolf of Wall Street,
She's a very, very attractive young actress, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
And I'd say she'll be good as I've seen clips. I haven't seen
Robbie, I think is the name.
I've looked at pictures of the released online, and she looks very well. Very different to other Harley Quinns we've seen in the past, as far as animated.
Yeah, and I don't know how much Ben Affleck's going to appear in that, but you did say that there was some footage released online of him fighting with the Joker and Harley Quinn, or being chased or something.
It was like the Joker is in a sports car, a red sports car with Harley Quinn, and Ben Affleck's fighting them. There's pictures of that,
Right. So tell me, Kieran, what is the point of this Suicide Squad? Are they like sort of like Avengers, or what are they fighting a good fight? Or
they're brought together by the government. They're a group of assassins who have been in jail, and they're taken out of prison on one condition, that they come together and fight fight against some really reckless, and it probably is. They probably fight against the Joker, and
Right. Okay.
probably the plot, and then Batman comes in, and maybe he comes in to try and put the government off getting them or something. I don't know, but that's the general layout of it. Like,
Yeah.
Will Smith as Deadshot looks pretty cool.
I was just thinking about that while you were talking about. He reminds me a lot of Deadpool. I mean, not just the name, but
Yeah.
the appearance of the mask that he wears and the red outfit. So I don't know
Deadpool.
anything about this Deadshot character actually.
Huh?
I said I don't know anything about this Deadshot character. Are you familiar with him or?
I wouldn't be very familiar with him, but I know that he's supposed to be a very talkative character, which will suit Will Smith very much. And he never shuts up, kind of thing. And he has the best shot of he has the greatest shot of any, I suppose, sniper or whatever.
Right, and well, just as you say that, it does kind of sound like a carbon copy of Deadpool because he talks so much all the time, and they call him a Merc with a mouth, and he's got a incredible
Like,
accuracy. You remember he was in the X-Men Origins Wolverine. He actually split the bullet in half with his blade while it was coming towards him.
yeah.
So
when you look
I don't know which character came first, but they do sound like they're a copy of each other.
like you get that a lot of Marvel and DC, don't you? Like with Deadpool is DC or is Marvel and Deadshot DC, aren't they? So
Definitely, yeah. There's plenty of crossovers.
like, it's another example is the Flash and who would his polar opposite be?
The Flash is DC. So who's fast in Marvel?
Probably somebody in Marvel would be very like him,
You're likely, yeah. I just can't think now off the top of my head. Yeah, but that's another trailer that was leaked. Again, I didn't bother watching it because it's crappy footage, but it's for the Deadpool movie, and this one starring Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like he played Deadpool in the Wolverine movie. It's going to be more like the comics. It's going to be 18 or 18 an R-rated flick as well, which is unusual, but that's pretty cool to see. So it's going to be like the whole persona of this Deadpool guy is that he is conscious of the fact that he's inside of a comic book universe, or he is a comic book character, and he references it on many occasions. And I think he's more or less indestructible in a way. Like he's been blown to bits and cut in half and whatnot, but he's still alive anyway. But I think Ryan Reynolds' character, he's dying of cancer, so he has some experimental procedure which basically saves his life and gives him these powers, which was kind of like in the Wolverine movie where they experimented on him again because he had cancer, and they injected him with all the the magic powers, for want of a better word, from all the mutants, so he could teleport and he could shoot laser beams out of his eyes and everything.
Cool. Ryan Reynolds wasn't very impressive as the Green Lantern a while back.
Yeah, I didn't watch that movie because, well, not entirely because of the bad reviews. I just never sat down to or wanted to really watch it particularly. If it's on the telly, I probably would. But
watched reviews, watched a lot of clips, but I never actually watched the full movie. But I heard by enough people to be able to say that he was terrible as him.
Well, it's funny in the trailer for the new Deadpool. I did watch a little bit of it and then I just switched it off because it was very poor quality. But when he's
I think he's a very bland actor anyway. I don't think he's the best of actors. I think he's something about him very off-putting.
Right. He's not. He does get big roles, but he's not that bankable. Let's say financially, his movies are not always hits. More often than not, they underperform. But like I was saying there, he mentioned in the movie, if you're going to give me a superhero suit, don't make it green or the suit all CGI. You know, which is basically what he was in the Green Lantern. And
Yeah.
again, that's like that
So it was
Deadpool
that wee
character
reference,
reference.
was it?
Yeah, so that's part of the humor they're bringing into it. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they
I
do with
know that
that.
I was a bit annoyed that they didn't stick to the comics idealism that the Green Lantern would be black. Thought that would have been better.
Was he originally black in the comics, or did they just
Yeah, it
change?
was always a black guy that played the Green Lantern, as far as I can, as far as I know.
Right. Well, I remember from the cartoons, yeah, that he was
It's a bit
black.
annoying that they would, go for this, make them white, because there's enough legendary black actors out there, or people that are good, or somebody, black actor that could bring in and give them a break, like, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. I mean, in Spider-Man, the comics, they have a black actor playing um, Peter Parker as well, or not a black
Right.
actor really, but I mean it's a comic book, so they've drawn Peter Parker to be actually maybe it's not even Peter Parker, but it's a young uh, African American male, and he's playing the role of Spider-Man. So they do switch them over
Yeah.
occasionally. I know
But
that
I would like,
Stan Lee said that he is against changing the ethnicity of
yeah,
characters in the movies. So
you know,
and he had to
I'm
defend
not
himself,
saying, uh, I'm not saying that I wanted specifically a black actor to play the role, but I would like it to be like continuity from the comics. But an example of a changeover that I don't agree with is them making a black James Bond, which there's a lot of talk about now about the next James Bond being black. I don't agree with that because traditionally he's always white. You know what I mean?
right?
No,
Yeah,
but it's like I'm big into tradition and continuing on stuff the way it was.
right. Well, people were against Daniel Craig just because he was a bit shorter and had blonde hair as well, but then
Right?
he turned out to be really good. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think he's really good as James Bond.
Yeah, but Nick Fury in the Avengers, he was not originally a black character. Now he's played by Samuel L. Jackson, and they actually modeled
And I think he's
the comic.
excellent as Nick Fury.
Yeah, they model the comic book character now after Samuel L. Jackson, and they draw him
Yeah.
just like him. But originally, he was not a black male, so it does happen. So
Aye. But getting away from the whole race thing, but we
yeah, you might get in trouble now, Kieran. Watch what you
yeah,
say.
I might be kicked off YouTube here for this, but anyway, I'm sure they won't be that harsh. But when you think about it started back in 2008, the whole Marvel universe, and imagine like what it's built up to now. You're going to start with Iron Man 1.
I think even before Iron Man 1, there was the Incredible Hulk, wasn't
Oh,
there? The one by Edward Norton, which people either rightfully or wrongfully don't really associate with the Marvel movies. But Tony, no, yeah, I think maybe you're right. Yeah, there was Iron Man. The reason I
but
remember now
Mark
Iron Man.
Ruffalo was the Incredible Hulk in that, wasn't he?
Sorry.
Mark Ruffalo or Mark Ruffalo?
No, it was Edward Norton that played the Hulk in that, and then he didn't come
What
back
was
after
it?
he was replaced by Ruffalo.
Ah,
The reason I remember now that came after Iron Man is because Tony Stark has a very small cameo at the end of this um, Hulk movie, and he goes to meet this general who was trying to capture the Hulk and to find out a little bit more about information about him because I think Tony Stark was looking to uh, take on Bruce Banner as part of the Avengers Initiative.
all
So
right.
yeah, it came out same year I think as Iron Man. So Iron Man was the first. Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, there you go. It's such an amount. I'd say if it was counted up, it could be maybe 20, 25, maybe not that much, but definitely over 15 movies from Marvel since 2008. Like,
Yeah, there's probably a dozen, maybe I don't know about 25, but yeah,
it's
something like that.
amazing
Certainly.
amount of stuff there they built up in their storyline, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it's quite carefully planned now. How
And
many
then
more
I
years
think
it'll go on for, I don't know.
yeah, when you think about the stuff they have to come as well, there's a lot of good stuff. But like Infinity War 1 and 2, and of course Captain America Civil War, and so many sub storyline movies like Ant Man coming up.
Yeah, and they could of course have another solo Hulk movie, but there's no confirmation of that yet. It's just been
Yeah.
talk, so we'll see.
They could continue all that on for years, you know what I mean, for decades if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they're obviously going to have to replace the actors, but we'll see
Yeah.
how long this current one goes on for. I hope it's not too long. You know what? I'd like to see them wrap it up after another 3 or 4, and it's
Mm.
part of another wider discussion where people are saying that Hollywood's losing its originality. It's all about franchises now, reboots,
I
sequels,
think we're
remakes.
very good about them though.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely well planned out, and the continuity in them is remarkably good compared to what happened in the past. But it seems like Hollywood is banking so much on these franchises now that they're less inclined to make projects that are more original. They don't because they don't bring in the same massive amount of money. Um, they're looking at it from a business perspective, and they're afraid to take these chances, which is a
Yeah.
shame.
I know what you're saying. What about DC? Do you think DC will bring? They're only really starting out with their universe. Do you think they're going to impress the way Marvel have done?
Um, Difficult to say if it'll be as successful or not. I think there's as big a fan base anyway, you know. And like we said last week, the thing about DC is that it seems a bit more serious, and even like you're referencing Wonder Woman looking like Xena, they do have sort of that dark, grimier tone to it where
Yeah.
it's a bit more adult, maybe you could say, you know.
Yeah, they always said that they have a kind of a thing with them that there's they say they phrase it differently, but it is they say it's like no humor kind of involved with DC, whereas there's a lot of humor with Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still all about comic book characters and
Yeah,
superheroes, but it's just a different take on it.
yeah. Well, we're going to move on a wee bit now to talk a bit about. We're really looking forward to them films, Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad, and of course Ant-Man coming out this month. But we want to talk a wee bit now about the TV series, the ones that are really getting big from Marvel and DC, and we'll start with Marvel, and the Arrow and Flash are really, and Agents of Shield are really doing well. Not Flash, sorry, Marvel, Daredevil, and Agents of Shield are really becoming big deals for Marvel or for Arrow, Daredevil, Agents of Shield coming from Marvel and mixed up.
Yeah, I think you just repeated yourself there about 10 times.
So have you watched any episodes of these? I won't. I wouldn't be a big follower.
Absolutely none, Kieran. Absolutely none of them. Not a
No.
single. No, I'm afraid my knowledge is extremely limited on these now.
I just
But
wanted to touch on them because I've been touching on all the movies.
sure, yeah. Daredevil's the most recent one, and from what I've heard, that's very good. And it's unusual that these uh, TV series are potentially going to cross over with the movie universes at a later date, because always in the past, you've had TV series based on movies, not so much movies based on TV series, but there was always a disconnect in that it was played by different actors, and you never saw the jump from the small screen to the big screen or vice versa. So I think, um, depending on how popular Daredevil and the rest of these shows become, we might see them cross over in future. But yeah, I've not been watching them. I know that Agents of Shield had that character Agent Coulson, who was in the Iron Man movies, and he was in the first Avengers movie. People thought he died in that, and then he ended up appearing in the Agents of Shield. I don't know how they brought him back, but that's an example of just what I was talking about, where you see the same actors on the movie and then on the TV shows. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think I tried to watch a couple of them, but with me, that's the same always with me. And I watch a lot of Netflix and mainly watch the movies. But I find it wild hard to keep up, keep watching the series. I'm not one of these people that binge watches and watches for a whole day to watch the whole series. You know what I mean?
No, you never binge on TV shows.
Never. I try my best not to because it's something you can just get too used to.
Yeah. No,
Right.
I'd be different because I could actually binge on a show if I knew if I had the whole season to watch it once. I'd rather do that than wait every 2 weeks or something to see a new episode.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't watch as much TV as I do movies is because I have trouble concentrating on the show. What I'll
Yeah.
likely do if I'm watching at home, I'll pause it and then I'll go do something else in the middle of it and then go back to it. Whereas I go into the movie theater, I sit down and I'm there for 2 hours, hour and a half, or whatever. The only reason I get up is if I have to go pee from drinking too much Coke
Yeah.
or something. So yeah, I would much prefer to go to the cinema and just sit down and watch it and have it over and done with rather than watching stuff on the small
Same
screen.
as that, John. Yeah. I find out of the ones that I have checked out, I find I really enjoyed the Arrow one. But Arrow was pretty cool.
Right. So
But as far as
can
Daredevil,
you tell me a bit about that from as I don't really know much about this Arrow character.
basically, very very much like Hawkeye, I think.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier. We similar characters again. There was another
Yeah.
example we didn't even know it, but
They're both Marvel. You know what I mean? It's strange.
no, but I think this Arrow guy is DC because he was in this game that I had.
Oh, maybe. You might be right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the game was called. Let me look it up just quickly. Injustice: Gods Among Us. And
Heard of it?
yeah, it's a fighting video game and based
Green
on
Hornet, very like him as well.
Sorry.
The Green Hornet, the DC character, might be a bit like him, is he?
Not sure. Not sure now. That was quite a good game though. It was from the same developers as Mortal Kombat, so
Right.
it's it's a fighting game. You see it from the side and you play these superheroes. A lot of different combinations and moves, but what makes it interesting is the story that intertwines with it. It's not just a pure fighter, and destructible environments, and you can do special moves, and you'll fire them from one arena to another. So and I'm really into fighting games at all. I find them a bit repetitive, but this one was quite good, I thought.
Tell you something, John, about gaming, right? I love games, right? I love video games and that, but
I know you do.
The same problem as I have with TV series. Spending the time and taking the time to sit down and play through all these different games would be torture. So I just have a look at them, enjoy the way they look, and just leave it be.
Yeah, I mean, you've never finished Grand Theft Auto, have you, Kieran? Because I know you got into that.
I finished it. Let's leave it at that.
I don't think you've finished any of them, have you, Kieran?
Well, when you get stuck on a level, it's hard to get through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway.
If Jamie McConnell's listening in, we hope to get you on the show soon, buddy, because you've been threatening to come on, and now it's all, but you haven't come on yet. So if you're listening, send me another text there, and we'll say what and tell us what you think of what we're talking about. But if you're not listening, don't bother.
But tell us about your own movie career now, Kieran. Now that you mentioned Jamie, because you've been doing movies.
Well, non-existent at the moment. No, haven't been doing much since the last one I done was last night's stream. Well, I've been doing NVAs as well with Jamie, but the last I've been doing them two last year, so I haven't really done anything in the last few months.
So when is NVAs and last night's stream? When are they due to come out?
NVAs we're looking at maybe October, November now. Last night's stream was out last year. It's going to be probably in Cool Discs, maybe in Derry soon. I don't know what the story is yet, but I was supposed to be doing one yesterday's war, but I have a lot of other things going on these days, so I've opted out of doing that one this summer, you know.
I think you told me about this last night's stream that there was a screening of it in Derry a few months ago, wasn't it? But you couldn't attend.
There was. I couldn't attend it though, but Hopefully, maybe they'll have another one, or else it'll be on disc anyway. Maybe it's
Right.
on
Okay. Yeah.
DVD. I know that I'm going to take it easy now from the whole acting side of things for a while now until a few health things going on. So until I get all that sorted for the next while, I'm going to get just direct because we're doing this play. You see, me and Jamie with the new Arctic Soul outfit. So we're doing that, and we're doing a couple of other things. So that's the concentration now at the moment.
Right. Well, it's my birthday coming up in September, Kieran. I'd love to receive a Kieran Kyo box set of all these pictures.
You have to keep that in mind. Hey,
Yeah, hint, hint.
the first one to request something like that, so fair play to you.
Yeah, special editions with all DVD commentary and everything.
Digitally remastered, eh?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what we can do. Are you coming on the 31st of July to the sandwich company, John?
No, I didn't hear about it. What's going on?
It's the Arctic Soul Productions launch party, and it's live on or live. It's a like a lineup of singers and like kind of like cabaret night,
It's in the Strand Road.
Oh, it's up in the Diamond and there.
Oh, right. Very good.
Yeah, so
definitely. Let's check.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be like we've got a lot of big names from Derry and a few from around the Buncrana area and Mobile and Muff and different places. Going to get together that night,
And how did the sandwich company become the headquarters of Arctic Soul Productions?
Me and Jamie like to chill out in there and have some coffee and chat. And
Arctic Roll.
You're not the first one came up with that one, but
I know someone wrote that on Facebook. That's what I just remembered. Yeah.
But we're going to have a big launch party, and we're going to be taking over then, John. We're going to monopolize the whole country then.
The whole city of Derry. Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to it, Kieran. What night's that? The 31st? Is that the weekend? Is that the weekend? The 31st?
Friday night, yeah.
Right. Okay. Very good. Yeah.
That should be fun.
Are you expecting a similar crowd to that of the opening night for the initial live? That was quite a busy one, wasn't it?
It was all right. It wasn't as good as we would have liked it to have been, but that was something that it was all right. But this one now we're hoping to bring in a good few because it is. I should have mentioned already. It's for Foil Search and Rescues, the cause, So
very
as well
good.
as Soul, but we're hoping to bring in a few from that, and we're also hoping to bring in a good few from the all the people that like to go to gigs, and then of course there's food later on the night, and then there's going to be bring your own beer and all. So hopefully it'll be work out.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. So we want to move on, talk about more about some movies. And last year I done a show for YouTube, and it was earlier in the year, and it was the best of 2014. So I want to briefly get your comments on a few of these films that I looked at, if you're up for it.
Okay.
So, A Million Ways to Die in the West, John. What do you think of that one?
I haven't seen it. I heard it's not very good. This Seth MacFarlane one with Liam Neeson. It looked funny to me in the trailers, but I know some people that went to see it and they didn't like it. But
yeah,
it's a film I'd probably watch eventually. Yeah. But what did you think?
Very funny, so it was.
I know he got to. I think the reason he agreed to star in that was on the condition that he got to use his natural accent. So he's a cowboy with a Northern Irish accent.
Yeah. There was a lot of good stuff in it. What about, if you've seen it, the Dallas Buyers Club?
Yeah, I like that. That was really good performance by Matthew McConaughey. Got him the Oscar.
Jared Leto, very good in it too. It was controversial role, but very, very good.
Right. Yeah. The controversy over that, I think, was that there were transgender actors that were looking to play the part, but they chose to give it to Jared Leto anyway. But he doesn't actually do a lot of movies, so that was his first in a few years. And then now that he's playing the Joker again, I guess that's his follow up because he's got some kind of band that he's more into his music these days. But
All right, yeah,
yeah. Overall, very good movie. I thought.
yeah. More and more people with double kind of media careers, isn't there? Like they branch out on the other side
Like
types of media.
yourself, Kieran. Yeah. You're actor, singer, producer, multi-talented man.
All right, right. Well, don't know about that, but well, thank you very much. Take your word for it.
Yeah.
Also, another great film that I was very impressed with is Lucy, Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah. That was pretty good. Luc Besson. That was the first film that he directed in years. Because remember, he had some very good movies in the '90s, like Leon in '94, and then The Fifth Element, and a few others. But he mostly writes and produces now. So um, some of the movies that he comes up with, like Taken, The Transporter, and stuff, they're all decent. But I think they would be better if they had him in the director's seat. So this Lucy film, it was noticeable at times his direction and style was quite good. Overall, I thought the movie treaded too much familiar ground. Like it was very similar to that Johnny Depp movie. What's it called? Trans Transcendence,
Yeah,
which is if there were two similar movies. I actually preferred the Johnny Depp movie. Um,
right.
I don't know if you've seen that, but that was a pretty good movie from last year. It didn't perform very well, but I thought it got more criticism than it deserved.
Yeah,
Lucy was definitely a good sci-fi, and there was parts of it I really enjoyed. Overall, though, thought it could have been better.
yeah. Morgan Freeman also in that one.
Yeah, and funnily enough, like I said, it's too similar to the Johnny Depp movie. Morgan Freeman was also in the Johnny Depp movie, playing a very similar type of character. He
He
always
plays
plays
a
these
lot of
old.
similar characters, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he
He's a
plays the
great
old
actor.
wise
He
guy.
gets away with it.
Sorry.
He's a great actor. He gets away with it, like.
Yeah, I mean, he can get away with it, but that
Uh,
doesn't mean he should.
no. Muppets Most Wanted. Did you get a look at that one last year?
Didn't see that one at all. No. Ricky Gervais was in it though. Was it good?
It's very funny. A lot of them were very funny this time as well.
Right. What was it about?
I was about the Muppets had to go across. Well, they were decided they were going to go on a world tour, and they Ricky Gervais comes on board as like their manager,
Okay.
and then tries to screw them over, then kind of thing. Very
Right.
very funny. Uh, another other film that we could talk a bit about that last year was a big deal, and that is RoboCop.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I was very impressed. I think we talked about that before, but not on one of the shows. Maybe we did, but I'm very impressed with it. I thought it was a fun film. I didn't think I would like it because these reboots are always it's hard to know what way they'll go. But Michael Keaton and Samuel L. Jackson were very good at supporting roles as well.
Yeah. I was delighted to see Michael Keaton in the movie because that was the first kind of high profile movie that he'd done in many years, and this was
Yeah,
before
look at where
Birdman.
he's at now. Brilliant comeback, like.
Yeah, it was before Birdman came out even, and he got all the Oscar buzz about Birdman. Nobody really mentioned RoboCop, but he was very good in that role. I thought he's a very likable character, even though he eventually turned out to be the villain in it. But
Yeah,
the movie was not too surprisingly, it was I think a 12s or something. Hollywood they're afraid to make R-rated movies now because they want to
yeah,
appeal to such a broad audience.
that's
Um,
true.
so unlike the original RoboCop, which Paul Verhoeven directed, that had an X rating originally because it was so graphically violent. He had to tone it down to get in theaters to get an R
All
back
right.
in 1987. So that type of violence, I really enjoyed that in the original. It was missing in this one. So and then people were complaining at the time about the black suit. He started off with the silver suit, changed to the black one, and then back to the silver
Yeah,
um, in the new
very
one.
different from what we were used to with RoboCop.
Yeah, yeah. It had its good moments overall. Like I thought it was a decent enough movie, but didn't uh, didn't match the original. You know.
No, I don't think so. Another couple now from last year, and then on the next show, what we do, we'll talk about a load more from last year. But I just want the stuff we didn't get to cover on the Movie Zone weekly when you left. We're gonna try and cover now the big ones, you know.
Right.
But
So we have a couple of years content to catch up.
that's it. Uh, another one now that comes to mind big time is Grudge Match with Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone.
Right. What did you think of that?
I was I was very impressed with that one. I thought it was like a homage to Rocky and Raging Bull, and it was like bringing the two characters together for a movie, you know, but not the
Right.
same
Yeah.
characters, but two people that are like kind of using them characters in different names, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. They didn't play Rocky or um, the Raging Bull. Like it was two different boxers. Jake LaMotta wasn't in it. But again, gonna have to disagree with you and say I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was okay,
Did you
but
not?
yeah, Stallone was like the nice guy in this, and De Niro was kind of the jackass who
Yeah,
alienated himself quite a bit. And the reason for the rivalry was the fact that De Niro slept with Stallone's wife at the
yeah.
time, 30
Kim
years prior or
Basinger,
something.
the woman on it, yeah, very good.
I mean, the two of them are in very good shape. De Niro's over 70 now, and Stallone's just turned 69. But they got back into the ring together, and Stallone
Imagine
had
the
all he has those
stage, you
huge tattoos everywhere. He covered them up for the movie. Thought it was okay. It was funny to see them playing against each other, you know, considering that they were Rocky and the Raging Bull. But
yeah.
is it something you'd watch again? You think, Kieran?
I've watched it about 3 times since it
Right.
came
So you must have
out.
really liked it, yeah.
I did enjoy it. I think I went to the cinema to see it, and then I watched it a couple of times on Sky, you know, and really, really thought it was. It kind of brought me back to the Rocky movies, I suppose, and brought me back a wee bit to the Raging Bull as well. I never really. I watched Raging Bull a couple of times, but it just didn't give me the same love as Rocky did, because I think Rocky is a great fairy tale type of feel to it, whereas Raging Bull is more kind of legit feel to it or something, you know. And I'm more
Well,
into the
Raging Bull's
fantasy
kind of a
side.
documentary, so
Yeah,
and I really like Raging Bull. I think it's great. The reason it was in black and white was because that year, whenever Martin Scorsese released it, there was something like a dozen other boxing movies coming out. You know, they weren't all high profile, but there was
yeah,
so many boxing movies that year. I think the reason he chose to make it in black and white was simply to distinguish it,
yeah.
and it is really a great movie, I think. But speaking of Rocky, anyway, did you watch the trailer for the new Creed movie, Apollo Creed's son?
I haven't seen that yet, but I've been hearing a lot of big news about that. I have a lot of big excitement about it. Like,
Yeah, I watched the trailer. The trailer's quite good, and it more focuses on Michael B. Jordan, the son of Apollo Creed, and then about halfway through the trailer, he meets Rocky, and Rocky begins to train him. And you don't see like they don't overuse Rocky in this, and I think that's I mean that's what they're aiming for, and I think that would be important because it's not supposed to be Rocky Part Seven. You know, it's more about Apollo Creed's son, and Rocky is Rocky stars alongside him, but he's not the main character because
uh,
we've already had enough Rocky movies, and they wrap things up well with the last Rocky Balboa picture, so they shouldn't try
yeah.
to get Rocky back in the ring again or anything. So
But it's nice that they're keeping the character alive, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I think. Is there any? Do you think there's going to be any like reference to Carl Weathers, or will he come in as a kind of a maybe a
If Ghost might appear, yeah.
uh,
No, I don't think they'll do that.
in the head of somebody, or you know?
I'm sure they'll have pictures of him and maybe cutbacks, flashback scenes, but the
Perfect.
actual actor Carl Weathers, I mean, he's near 70 now, so I
But
don't think they're gonna.
I've seen pictures. He looks pretty good for you know.
Yeah, he looks in good shape, but at the same time,
Mm.
this is a character that died back in the mid '80s. So to have him appear in the movie in whatever kind of capacity, I
Uh,
think would not be
for
a
somebody
wise
that
idea.
died after being in three of the films and not even as the main character, he really does. It's somebody you think about if you think about Rocky, though, isn't he?
Definitely, yeah, and he was a they became a good friend with Rocky as well. So
Yeah,
um, that's why he lived on in the series.
yeah, yeah. Right. Well, Creed is something I'm really looking forward to. I think that's going to be. Is there a release date for that yet? Or
Can't remember, Kieran. I think it's this year though. It might be around Thanksgiving or Christmas time.
right, right, okay. Um, right. Well, we'll touch on one or two other of last year's big hits now. Uh, Guardians of the Galaxy. John, did you enjoy that one?
I did, yeah. That was quite good. Like I enjoyed it more than the Avengers, I think,
Yeah.
just because it was so different from it, and it was a lot more humor in it as well. Chris Pratt, everybody loves Chris Pratt at the moment. He
Yeah.
was he was really good in it, but the rest of the cast too. I liked Zoe Saldana, the lady from Avatar movies, and the little raccoon guy, whatever you call him, and Groot
Rocket
voiced
Raccoon.
by yeah, Groot voiced by Vin Diesel. Even though he only said "I am Groot," he was a really good character.
Still
So
great.
overall, I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
And the director James Gunn, that was his probably his first major Hollywood blockbuster that he got to work on. He did a great job, I think. So
Yeah. James Gunn, there's a director that is very, very active on Facebook, and he responds a lot to his fans as well. Noticed?
right now, I haven't been following him on Facebook, but
Yeah.
have you ever left a comment for him?
He just said I enjoyed his stuff, and he said thanks underneath the comment, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, he seems to be big. He's already talking about the second film now, and he's posted a lot about it. So he seems to be putting it out there.
Yeah. So I'm sure they'll connect that to the other characters in Marvel in some way.
Mhm.
The main guy that seems to appear, that has appeared so far, is Thanos, played by Josh Brolin. He was in the end of Avengers, and then I
That's
think the
right.
end of Avengers 2 as well. So
Yeah, but it's as if he's kind of the guy behind everything.
yeah,
Of
he's
bad
kind
guy
of like a godlike character because he's the most powerful person in the universe that both these um,
right?
movies are connected through, and he's
Yeah,
looking for the Infinity Stones. So that's what they're all
yeah.
trying to capture throughout.
To say that there's talk now that the two franchises, the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers, and maybe even, of course, Spider-Man's going to be there, but maybe even the X-Men might all be in the Infinity War movie, which is going to be hard to do.
Yeah, I know Spider-Man is. I don't know about X-Men. I haven't heard anything about that, but I think they're
Well,
trying to
it's all
wrap.
down to Fox, really, if Fox allows it.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of paperwork to sort that out, but they're trying to wrap up the X-Men movies now with this Apocalypse one coming out next year, and that'll be the last appearance of Hugh Jackman as well. He's doing one more solo Wolverine, and then he's going to be in this X-Men movie. And
Right?
he had a discussion at Comic Con addressing the fans as well and saying how much he enjoyed playing the character, but this was his last hurrah or whatever.
Ah, I really enjoyed the Days of Future Past. That was one of the big ones from last year.
Yeah, that was excellent. Um, Getting the old actors and the young ones together for the first
Uh,
time. So Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, really cool to see them alongside. Well, not quite alongside, but with Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy. So
I think Fassbender was a great representative for Ireland in that movie. I think he's really becoming a star of his own, isn't he?
yeah, even more so than James McAvoy because McAvoy was on the scene a bit earlier than um, Michael Fassbender, but I think Fassbender is more of a bigger star now, and he's commanding more leading roles. And
Aye.
recently he did the trailer for the new Steve Jobs biopic came out, starring Michael
Oh,
Fassbender.
yeah,
And
I heard about
not at all like, I mean, before I wasn't at all excited by the news of that movie because I thought they've already done two or three movies about the life of Steve Jobs, but
that.
the difference is this time around that they have Danny Boyle directing it, and he usually makes really good movies.
He
Most of the
does movies that aren't exactly very frequent either. Movies that have been that take a good while to make too, which is Tarantino has proved is a good method, really, isn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't make two movies a year or even one a year or anything like that, but he comes out with a maybe every few years, and they're usually really good. So the trailer I watched for Jobs anyway, I thought it was quite good. Whereas that one where Ashton Kutcher played Steve Jobs, he looked so similar to Steve Jobs when he was younger. It was crazy, but I don't think the movie was graded with much positive reviews or anything.
Yeah. Okay, well, moving away from last year's big hits and talking about a few from the coming out, maybe talk a bit more now about the DC side of things when it comes to the uh, the TV series. Have you watched at all Gotham?
No, not at all. Like, um, is it any good?
Really like the stuff I've seen. I've seen about 4 or 5 episodes. I would love it to come to Netflix so I could check it because that's something I would watch because of my big interest in Batman and stuff. I would really be big into Gotham.
Right. That's set when Bruce Wayne is a kid, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah, yeah. But it's you've got Commissioner Gordon being the main character, and then you've got a lot of the villains showing the like becoming the prominence in that movie or in that show as well. So
The
I think,
Penguin. Yeah, I've seen that in the trailer.
mm, I think it's really starting to be a big deal now.
So who would be the main characters then? Like Commissioner Gordon and who else?
Harvey Bullock, the guy that was in this animated series, and then he wasn't really in any of the films though. He's another cop in it, and a couple of other ones would be there's a couple of actors or characters that are just in the series that aren't in any of the movies, like uh, Fish Mooney or something like. Is it Fish Mooney you call her? A girl character in it who's become a big deal in it, and she's one of the main villains. And then of course the Penguin when he's young, and Joker when he's young, and Riddler and that are making appearances.
Yeah. Will Smith's wife plays a character in that. I don't know whether she's
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
that is her, right? Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's interesting that Will Smith's now Deadshot in the DC
Uh,
uh, movie, and now
Maybe there'll
she
be
plays.
a link up there sometime.
Yeah, maybe he's who knows.
Yeah. So overall, the DC and Marvel timelines are very interesting the way they're going. That was the main focus for this week's movie zone. Any other thoughts before we close down for the night, John?
Not really, Kieran, and unless you do, I'm happy to call it.
Did you
But
watch the UFC last night? Are you into that at all?
I was at a birthday party last night, Kieran, and then I went out afterwards. I got home quite late. The fight was already over by the time I got home, but I watched clips of it earlier on. You know, I'm not really into UFC, but
Neither am I.
it's
I'm not
garnered so much attention that you kind of have to know about it now because everybody's talking about it. You know,
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't be the biggest fan of it. I wouldn't be a fan at all. I'm more into the theatrical side of things with the wrestling and that. But I think it's very very violent. That's what puts me off. It's far too violent. But your man, what do you call the boy that?
Conor McGregor,
Yeah, he's becoming a big deal. He's a very tough looking guy, like, but he's kind of very cocky, which puts me off as well.
right? Yeah, but you like a bit of confidence and enthusiasm. Oh, Kieran, do you know?
I do, but
And your wrestling characters, I mean, you know,
yeah,
the
but
ones
that's
like,
acting, John.
right? Not all acting, though, is it?
Do you not think he's a bit too much? No.
Uh, I don't really mind him. He is he does come across as a bit of a tit, but you know,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
just let it be said. Everything's
just as long as he backs it up,
gold,
you
you
know.
know. Huh?
Just as long as he backs it up with a performance, and you can
That's
always
it.
say
Like,
fair play to him.
you can back it up, I suppose, which is I just something about him just don't like. But fair play to him, he's doing well, and that's the way to go. Uh, Otherwise, not a lot really to talk about. Are you up for doing another one of these, John?
Definitely.
Good stuff. Uh, we'll decide on the topic during the week, I suppose, and come back at you next week with another movie zone, folks, here on CKTV with the Coaster Live with John Shortall. Great having you on, John.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me again, Kieran.
So we'll sound out now then, okay? See you later, John.
Yeah.
All the best.
All right. Cheers. Talk to you later, Kieran.
Coaster over. And out.